Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Julio Guzman, and I am with Andria Curbelo from Caliber Home Loans. And today we're going to be talking about everything South Dade. This is what the show is about. It's a real honor to be here. Thank you, Community News, for having us. Andria, so good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Julio. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So this show is mainly about everything South Dade. And when we say South Dade, that means typically anything south of Kendall. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you're in the mortgage industry. Tell us a little bit about you and about the company you work with.
Okay, so I am a homestead transplant, I like to call it. I am located in Homestead. I have an office in Homestead working with Caliber Home Loans. I have been in Homestead for about 5 years now. I am a military spouse, so we moved around quite a bit. Now I'm here. I have 3 boys. They are all also in school in Homestead, and I've been doing mortgages for 3 years now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So where did you come from? Where did you come? Where did you start? How did you get to Homestead?
Okay. So I'm originally from Yakima, Washington. It's a little town about 2 hours outside of Seattle, Washington, which is a more known point in Washington. And then after meeting my husband there, he was in the military when I met him. We were transferred to Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
We did 3 years there and had 2 more sons in Colorado. Okay. And my husband deployed a lot. Obviously, he is EOD, which means explosive ordnance disposal. He is a bomb tech.
Cool.
Yes.
Sounds exciting.
So after doing it for about 10 years, he decided that the best case would probably be to get out. He always had a dream of coming home to Miami and being a firefighter like his dad.
Awesome.
So he got out, went reserve, and came home to be a firefighter.
Okay, so do you still have to kind of move around the country or get deployed overseas, or are you going to settle and grow some roots down there?
So we bought a house in Homestead.
Cool.
The market's on fire. Yes. So we bought a house. We are staying in Homestead for the foreseeable future. He will may have to deploy. That just kind of is a hit or miss for us being reserve, but we should not be moving around. I will not be moving around anymore. I'm staying local.
So Homestead is home.
Homestead is home now.
So speaking about real estate, like you just mentioned, real estate is on fire everywhere throughout the country. And, you know, the Miami Association of Realtors has a really robust website where all of you can get information and stats on, you know, the latest trends and things that are happening in Miami-Dade County, Broward, Palm Beach. So, you know, I was looking at the stats and it says that the median price for a single family home right now is about $515,000. So part of the reason that a lot of people come to South Dade, you know, south of Kendall, is because you can still enjoy a slightly larger home, you know, bigger lot sizes, and you don't have to, you know, pay the premium that some of these other places are paying. So it's a really, really competitive market. We're starting to get a lot of people, you know, migrating further down into deep South Dade. You know, I want to tell people what should they be doing to put themselves in the best position when it comes to making offers on homes. Because I get a lot of calls and people are saying, man, I'm submitting offers, but I can't get anything accepted. So I know the mortgage has a big part of getting your offer accepted. So give us some best practices on what buyers should be doing in terms of mortgage to submit offers.
Perfect. Yeah. So to be a really strong buyer in today's market, when it's very competitive, several offers upon offers on any home that's available, you really need to have 3 things put in place before you call a realtor. You need to make sure your credit score is as high as possible.
Okay.
You don't want a lot of disputes on there. That's going to mess up your credit score. It's going to give us kind of a little bit of a red flag. You also don't want any collections, judgments, anything like that. The reason your credit score needs to be as high as possible is that's going to give you the best interest rate. Okay. Along with that, a seller really wants to see somebody in the 700s versus somebody that's in the 600s. That's one reason right there that they may pick somebody over you. They see a higher credit score. And of course, that translates to a stronger buyer.
So not only are you a loan officer with Caliber, but you also have experience in helping people with their credit, which is a huge ace in your pocket, because a lot of times people come and they haven't really looked at their credit for a while. So you could quickly take a look at someone's credit and say, here are some things that we can do to kind of boost your score up a little bit to help you, you know, move your way up that chain. Is that part of something you do today?
Absolutely. So one thing that makes Caliber Home Loans a little bit different than other lenders is within your application, if we see that you're lower than a 700 score, we're going to run what we call a credit simulator.
Okay.
It's free, no cost to the buyer, but we are going to run some scenarios on how we can quickly, less than 30 days, raise your credit score.
Okay.
If you take our suggestions, which of course we're going to email you right away and say, hey, Mr. Buyer, we would really love to see you do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
It's going to cost this much money. If you do that, you get us a letter from the creditor saying that that action has been completed.
Right.
We're going to send you up for a rapid rescore. That's something that can quickly help you. Does not take 30 days of a normal update within the creditor's bank statement or statement. And it's going to really, really help ensure that you're the strongest you can be for that transaction you're about to put an offer on.
Got it. Got it. And the typical questions that you normally get from a buyer is the minute they submit an application with you is, what's my interest rate going to be? Can I get a 2.75 or a 2.5? And a lot of times your company or you're not the ones that control the interest rate. Can you please help explain that to the audience? Like, how do interest rates get determined when a specific buyer submits an application?
Of course, yeah. So we always go by an index table, which we can access within, of course, our applications. Yeah. And every week they're updated and it kind of fluctuates based on the market. So obviously a few months ago, we were seeing amazing all-time history lows, 2.7s, 2.6s, 2.8s. And that is based on your credit score. So again, that's going to make you a strong buyer. We are going to check your credit. We are going to give you options to maybe get your interest rate a little bit lower. If you want to pay some more money down, there may be different ways that we can get you lower, but it really does feed off of the market. So right now we're kind of seeing the rates start inching up, not a lot, but slowly. It looks like we're starting to maybe rebound a little bit in the economy.
Okay, great. When we are submitting contracts for buyers, a lot of times we don't know. We gather information, we pass it on to the loan officers, and you guys will determine where they fit best, whether it's an FHA loan, whether it's a conventional loan, or VA if they've done time in the military. Can you help explain the differences of those types of loans, and I guess what you would consider the strongest type? What is the strongest type of loan that puts that buyer at the best possible level to get an offer accepted?
So most buyers and real estate agents, they would want to see a conventional loan. Conventional is you need to have, a higher credit score. We like to see you at 680, 700, 100, to get into that conventional credit, that loan. And that's where, buyers really want to see is a conventional loan come across. That means your debt to income is lower, your credit score is higher, and that takes two of the risk levels away. FHA, of course, is great for first-time home buyers if they need a little bit of extra help because it is a lower down payment, 3.5% required versus 5% on conventional. And sometimes even if you have good credit and there's not anything wrong, you might want to go that direction because it is 1.5% less of you having to come up with that money down payment. Got it.
And VA, I'd really like the audience to understand with VA, these guys go out and fight for our democracy. They put themselves and their families on the line. So I want the audience to know that there is really great programs for people that are in VA. And I know you've got some experience with that with a program called Homes for Heroes.
Correct. Yes. I encourage all buyers to look at a VA application. I know that sometimes a 0% down payment scares some buyers, scares some realtors. But that in order for this VA person to be eligible for that loan, they have to have spent a certain time in the military. They don't just get to enlist and then 30 days later, they're eligible for a VA loan. So this is a buyer that's spent some time in the military, has fought for your country more than likely, and they've really put their family and their life on the line to be eligible for this specialty product. It doesn't mean anything against your buying or your selling. It really is giving that soldier a little bit of a gift back by allowing them to go 0% down payment. The other thing we allow them to do is we allow them to pay the appraisal at the end, at closing instead of at the beginning. That makes a lot of realtors nervous. They see 0% down. They don't see a lot of fees coming out of the buyer's pocket. So they think, well, man, they have no skin in this game. What's going to keep them from backing out? I can tell you I've never had a VA loan where the buyer tried to back out for any reason. So I really tried to explain that even though they're coming down with 0% down and they get special perks, they deserve those perks. They
Absolutely.
should be given those perks. And not only that, they're coming less money out of pocket in the beginning.
Okay.
So they're saving themselves money to pay for those closing costs, which are typically lower.
Right.
You're looking at less than $12,000 or less than, a certain amount of the purchase price.
Right.
So they're coming less out of pocket than other people. And they're going to have that money saved at the end to put the money down at closing. I really, really want the community to think about these products,
Right.
give a soldier a chance. I think
Absolutely.
it's well worth it.
I do as well. And that's great information that you're giving the audience. And also, when buyers do get a loan application, sometimes it seems to be an overwhelming amount of documents that they may not read all through those pages. And most of the time we just want them to sign electronically.
Yep.
So they may sometimes call their realtor,
Mhm.
and they'll say, hey, can you please look over these documents and ensure that I'm not getting myself into trouble? So you typically hold their hand through that process so that they can ask any questions. If they have a doubt about something, you're always available and you're there to kind of walk them through. But that initial part, which is, I'm assuming you're calling a loan application, disclosures that you
Mhm.
submit ahead of time so that you can get the ball rolling. And that part of the process then goes to an underwriter.
Correct.
Right? So most of the time people don't really understand what underwriters, who they are or what they do. Could you speak briefly on what an underwriter does?
Sure. So just like you said, we get those documents and we as loan officers do our best to make sure that what the buyer is telling us and the real estate is telling us is correct.
Okay.
The pay stub and the W-2s and the tax return all make sense for what we're putting on the application or your buyer has put on the application. We then are going to, like you said, submit that to an initial step of underwriting,
Okay.
which is the loan approval. We need to know what we're putting on paper. So does your buyer. And there's a back person, an
Mhm.
underwriter, making sure that that's all correct. This underwriter's job is to go through everything with a fine tooth comb and make sure that that person really does qualify for that purchase price.
Right.
And that person really can make the monthly payment. There's certain ratios that we have to make sure are in line. It all includes taxes and insurance and things like that. And that underwriter needs to make sure that that person can afford that house and that before we proceed, everything is in line and the application makes sense.
Got it. So in your opinion, sometimes you'll hear people say, the market is too hot right now. Maybe I should wait
Mhm.
for a correction. And you get all of these people saying different things, and it sometimes confuses a typical buyer and his family, because even though they may be ready to purchase, they still think maybe the market might correct itself and I get to enjoy a lower price. However, let's say a family, has gotten a new job, they've gotten a promotion, they've got money and they're ready to buy, they have good credit. Would you say that the market, based on the interest rates with the way they are today, is a good time to buy?
100%. Absolutely. And the reason for that is your interest rate is going to follow you through that 30 years life of your loan.
Got it.
So if you're getting a 2.99 today, but you're afraid because there's a lot of competition, it's overwhelming, you have questions and you don't purchase for another year, you could be looking at a 4% or higher or
Right.
lower. It just depends. And that's going to be for 30 years. So
Right.
if you think about it right now, 2.99 is going to cost you an X amount of money.
Right.
If it goes up another percent, it's going to cost more money over a 30-year period
Got it.
to buy later.
And for those people that may have purchased, 7-10 years ago, that are somewhere in the 4.5 to 5% interest rate, would you also say that it's a good time to maybe refinance?
Absolutely. We do a lot of refinancing right now, just because, again, you are already in your house. Maybe there's equity in your house. Maybe you want to do a cash out refinance for projects or debt consolidation. There's many reasons why refinancing has been huge right now.
Yeah.
I refinance personally because if you can drop yourself a 0.5% or 1%, you're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan, or more if you decide to pay off sooner. So if we can get you to save on your interest rate, it's obviously a way simpler, quicker process than a purchase. It's worth it, and it's gonna save you money absolutely if you try to refinance right now.
Andria, thank you so much for all of this information that you have provided. It's given me a better sense of what the mortgage market is doing. And for the audience and the people out there, if they want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you? Can you share your phone number with them and share your email and the company you work for so that everybody has your contact information.
Absolutely. So the best way to get a hold of me is either a text or a call. My number is 786-734-2565. My email address is a little bit longer, but andria.curbelo@caliberhomeloans.com. You're welcome to contact me, ask questions, anything that's might been confusing for you. I'm absolutely here to help.
Thank you so much, Andria. Thank you, Miami Community News. This is Julio Guzman, Everything South Dade. Thank you. Have an awesome rest of your afternoon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.